Sweet. Look at this hair though. Look at it. Just look. I don't know what to do. I feel like Curly Sue. That wasn't meant to rhyme. Hey everybody, what's up? So I'm finally back from Asia. I'm finally back into the swing of things in the city. Don't have a job yet, but what are you gonna do? There are many things that people both expect of me and what I think of myself and how I act that I realize is fitting for being a 20-something. I'm officially a 20-something. I'm 24, mid-20s. I have nothing figured out. And so I figured I would talk to you guys about what I've learned from being a 20-something so far. First of all, when you're in your 20s, old people and young people both don't think you know what they know. Old people, not really old, but older than you, think that you still don't know shit, which is probably true. But if I ever try to have a conversation with someone who is 55 years old, they're like, oh, when I was your age, I thought that this was gonna happen and this was gonna happen. And young people think that you're old. I am 24. I am around a couple of 13-year-olds to 18-year-olds and they all think that I'm like old. They're like, oh, you're 24? You don't look 24. As in like 24, you're supposed to have wrinkles and have cats and be set in your ways. There was this one woman who came in to eat at the restaurant that I worked at in the Gold Coast, and I got into a conversation with her and her husband, and I said that I was 24, and she was like, how do you look so young? And I was like, I didn't want to sound rude, so I was like, I don't know, I moisturize a lot. And she was like, oh, but I moisturize too, and like I still get wrinkles and stuff like that. And I was like, what? Because I didn't know how old she was. And I walked away to get something. I brought it back to them and her husband was like, okay, she thought you said 44. And I was like, in what world do I look 44 ever? Even if I moisturize, that is like ridiculous. Honestly, I've seen some sexy ass people who are 44 years of age. This is not supposed to be offensive whatsoever. But the fact that she thought I was 44 and believed it makes me a little bit wary, a little bit scared, which brings me to the question of eye cream. Are you supposed to use it? Are you not? I know you're supposed to prevent it rather than treat it once it happens. I mean, I bought this and I use it on my eyes every day, but is this even gonna work? Who knows? I don't know. I'm never gonna be able to prove them wrong being like, your eye cream does not work because I got wrinkles when I was 35. They could be bullshitting us and I will be none the wiser. Also, when you're in your 20s, people tend to ask you, do you know what you want to do with your life or nah? And you're like, abso-fucking-lutely not. People grill you all the time on your life and you're like, if you wouldn't mind. Brings a lot of pressure when people say that kind of shit and you just want to ask them, did you know what you were doing with your life when you were this age? Cause I sure frickin' don't. Also, if you're into kid or teen stuff while you're in your 20s, you're considered immature. And if you're into old people stuff, you're considered like wasting your youth away. That I don't understand. Can't we just all be friends? I personally wish it was still okay to be on Neopets, because I would. I mean, sometimes I still go on it, but like I don't tell anybody. You know what? Live your own life. I'm not gonna judge someone else for going on Neopets or fucking Barbie.com if they wanna be that person. Also, when you're in your 20s, you like kind of know how to do things. You pretty much know how to cook. You pretty much know how to like shower and take care of yourself. Like the adult cat meme. Everyone is considered an adult cat at this age. They pretty much know how to take care of themselves. Sometimes they just need someone to check up on them, make sure they're okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to poach an egg. You also are at an age where you want to make sure that you're still cool to teenagers. I meet like 16, 17-year-olds who think I'm really cool, and then other ones who are like, you don't know what this means? They just keep on coming up with all these slang terms that you don't understand, and you try to make such an effort to use them in your everyday life, and you just feel it slipping away from your grasp every second. You also expect people to know what you're referring to when you reference Smart Guy or Lizzie McGuire or anything from your own era, like Weekenders, Recess, all that. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I've heard of Recess. And I'm like, what? What kind of TV shows / movies do you watch that you've only kind of heard of the Backstreet Boys? Excuse me. Excuse me. And I know that that's gonna keep going on, like for people who are younger than them, but now I know how my parents felt when I've only kind of heard of a famous bass guitarist. When you're in your 20s and you go to a bar, half or more of the people you meet are gonna be 19, 20 years old. And you think someone is really cute and you're dancing with them and talking to them, and you're like, how old are you? And they're like, 21. I'm like, oh, fuck. Where are all the mid-20 people? Are they all married other than me? Do they all have significant others and babies and shit to do? I sure don't. I don't. I'm a fucking renegade. I'm just out here on my own, trying to figure out life. And for that matter, when you actually meet somebody and you have a relationship and you reach that point where you're like, I could quit now or keep trying, I need to think long term right now. I don't know how to decide if I'm gonna marry the person that I'm dating or not. How do you make that decision? Medical wise, if something starts to bug you, you worry about it in the future. If my knee starts to hurt, I'm like, what if I get arthritis in this knee? What if it keeps bothering me? I need a cane. I'm gonna end up in a wheelchair by the time I'm like 50. You gotta think about everything. You go to the doctor and you're like, am I old enough to get this cancer? Should you be checking me? Should I be going for like a mammogram every year already? One of the good things is that you have so many TV shows geared towards you. There are tons of TV shows about 20-somethings trying to figure out their life, and you're like, yes, I get it. Which is why I think I have the most chance of my life turning into a Friends episode than ever. I feel like I'd be Phoebe. A lot of my friends think I'd be Rachel, but I feel like I'd be Phoebe. And when you're in your 20s, you earn more than the average teenager because they're usually working at grocery stores or what have you and earning minimum wage. You're earning a little bit more than that. But also people are gonna judge you if you don't spend your newfound money right. Like I live all the way in Australia, I'm still unemployed. And I know that people who start to earn like an actual salary, people are like, man, they don't have anything figured out. They have a good job. Why aren't they saving it? Why are they spending it all on box sets of House of Cards and Game of Thrones? Why did you spend it on that jacket when you could be saving up for a down payment on a mortgage? In your 20s as well as basically every other decade in your life, you don't know anything and people expect things of you, but it's not accurate. And that's it for my video on things I've learned in my 20s. I hope you guys liked it. Did I miss anything? I probably missed a heap of stuff. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna go eat some apples and Greek yogurt because who has the option to eat chocolate for lunch anymore? Not me, that's for sure. I'm not mad about it.